Satnam, and welcome to another class on practical spirituality. I'm so glad you're joining me today, and I hope you're joining me today, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and energetically. So, we are beginning our journey into the witnessing process, and we'll talk a little more about it. But before we get into it, let's take a moment and invite ourselves fully into the space that we are in together with each other. So even though you're not here with me, we can still energetically connect and create a space where we are receiving each other. Again, please feel free to share where you're joining us from. If you are new to us and to the studio, we welcome you with an open heart. So let's begin with our eyes closed, shoulders rolled back and down, chest lifted. Allow your attention to turn inwards. And one of the best ways to do that is by focusing at the middle of your forehead between the brows. So take a moment, just roll your eyes upwards until you find that spot that is located between the eyebrows. And if you're new to focusing at this point, you might find it a little difficult in the beginning. But if you just allow yourself, keep giving yourself permission, you will find that your mind and all the thoughts will begin to come to converge at a single point. And only in that confluence of all your thoughts can you ever become present. So place your hands on your knees, lift the heart, shoulders relaxed, gazing the eyes at the third eye point. Allow yourself to find your breath. You are a live, breathing entity. So allow yourself to cherish a moment of your breath. Acknowledge that you are alive and well here now. Allow the past to fade away. Allow the future to vanish. And just become present with your breath in the now, in the present. Begin by expanding the belly out. This is the beginning of the inhale. And draw that inhale up towards the chest, opening, expanding the rib cage, and opening the shoulders. And on the exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the chest, draw the navel back in towards the spine as far as you can. And then allow the expansion in the belly to take place again on the next inhale. Again, draw that inhale up into the chest, open the shoulders. Exhale, relaxing the shoulders, chest, drawing the belly in towards the spine. Keep going with this process for a few more breaths. And with each breath, invite yourself back into your body. So many dimensions of you. All of them scattered, invested in so many different places. With each breath, invite them all back to meet you at your heart. Allow yourself to feel your own presence. See what that feels like for you. Listen to the sound of your exhale. And with each exhale, begin to release any extra stress that you have been holding in your mind and in your body. If you have been holding other people energetically, this is a time for you to exhale and release that out of yourself and bring yourself back into your own harmonious balance. So focus, emphasize on the exhale. Empty yourself where you feel overfilled, overstressed. Create that space for yourself. Remembering it is your space and you can take ownership of the space. Few more breaths. Keep bringing yourself in. I can almost feel you. Still, the mind is drifting a little. One breath at a time. Become available to yourself. Keep the breath going and begin to rub the palms together. Let's invoke that inner guide within us that is always present, ever present. But we can invoke it, we can call on it purposefully. And the mantra that we use to do that traditionally in all Kundalini Yoga classes is Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. So press the palms together, press the thumbs against the sternum. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. And let's inhale deeply to begin. Inhale deeply. Pause the breath. Just gaze at yourself. Become a witness to yourself. Inhale a little more. And now very gently exhale. Relax the breath. Relax the palms. Keep your eyes closed for a few more seconds. We had a visitor. Keep your eyes closed. I love this virtual space. Anything is possible here. Again, just feel your own presence. Are you here? Are you open to receiving? Vaheguru. Thank you. So we will keep this chat open. I will have the comments that you post here. And today's class, I would like for it to be truly interactive, because we are dedicating today to witnessing our relationships. So in essence, everything is a relationship. Yes? You have a relationship with the cup of tea that you drink in the morning. You have a relationship with your clothes. You have a relationship with your inanimate objects. You have a relationship with your routine. You have a relationship with your work. You have a relationship with your coworkers. You have a relationship with your pets. You have a relationship with your family and everything that's including in the family. So that extension by blood or by connection, that's family. Everything is a relationship. But a good question to ponder on is, why do we need to have relationships? Right now, as at the time of this recording, we are all hunkering down because of COVID-19, and people have not been able to have in-person physical contact with each other. And this is a time of great discovery. People are finding out that some of their relationships are not working at all. And some other people are discovering that they do need a relationship that they were running away from. So I'm hearing all these different contrasting thought waves that are going through right now. But to check in, what is the purpose of a relationship? We are looking for something when we create a relationship. So if you are still sitting, if you're still in a little bit of that meditative space, close your eyes and express this question to yourself. Why do I need to have a relationship? What is the purpose of a relationship? What am I looking for? And your mind will take you through surface answers, and then keep breathing and allow yourself to go towards some deeper answers and see what answers come to you. And as they do, go ahead and write them. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. We are exploring relationships today. And if something comes up for you, just go ahead and write it down. Don't think about it too much. Possibly the first thing that comes to your mind. I am in relationship with my work because of what? It could be survival. It could be I enjoy what I do. It gives me fulfillment. Because anything you are investing your energy in, you are looking for something from it. And that's what a relationship is. A relationship means I am investing my energy in one way or another into something in order to receive something back. I'm waiting for the comments. Not very many answers right now. So I'm going to wait a few more seconds and then I'll move on to the next concept. And we'll explore this together. So if you notice, we as human beings are composed of 4 components. The yogis, the ancient yogis, call these koshas. And koshas, you can think of it like a lampshade. So in the center of my being, there is me, the real me, my essence. That essence is creating, it's weaving around itself more layers of itself. And the first layer away from the center is our energetic being. Then comes our emotional being. Then comes our mental being. And then our physical being. Now, everything that you do in life, which is a relationship, you are investing these 4 things in some equation or other. In some things that you are doing, you're more physical. There's more of a physical investment and very little emotional investment. Could be some mental investment and an X amount of energetic investment. So I want you to think of, let's make it simpler. I would like for you to think of the first relationship that pops in your head. Don't go too far. The first thing, as I will use the word relationship, it has to be with a human being, not with an animal, not with an inanimate object. It has to be with a human being. What comes to your mind? Whatever showed up, that is what you're working on today. Yes, that's going to be our experiment zone. So we have a few answers here. Brandon says stability, comfort, affection, adventure, reflection, evolution. What I'm looking for in a relationship is the ability to share my true essence with someone or a group of people. And Maddie says, help each other to be the best humans we can be. And Victoria says, mirroring opportunities to grow and evolve, engagement. And Liz says, connection and learning. And Jennifer says, evolve together, partner, companionship. That is beautiful. Thank you for that feedback. And all of these have shown up in my own as I was sensing into it today. All of these showed up. But in order to receive all this back, so if you notice, we are looking for, let's break it down. We are looking for primarily three things. Nope. One, self-connection. I know everybody said connection, but I'm going to take it a step further. What we are looking for is self-connection. Two, we are looking for self-understanding. And three, we are looking for completeness. So essentially, everything that you guys have shared here falls under one of the three categories. If you truly, authentically, radically want to be truthful, you will find that at the end of it, it is all about us. Even though relationships are involving someone else, ultimately, it is about us. We as a human consciousness that is looking outwards, this, the center of your being, has created these outer energetic senses. This is the essence. And this essence is creating all these senses. It's almost like the center core is sending itself outwards to gather information, to gather material, to bring back and reflect upon it. And in that reflection, what it's trying to do, it's trying to understand itself. From a beautiful poetic perspective, an ideal perspective, we would say relationships are about two people, them and me. But if you truly get down to the essence of it, you will find it is all about you. Not in the sense that it's all about me, but the sense that whatever we do, we are looking for the self in it. All our relationships are trying to reflect something back to us. And therefore, we invest in our relationships. We make a physical investment, we make a mental investment, we make an emotional investment, we make an energetic investment. And this is happening all the time. But how often do you sit with that as a witness? Yeah, this is your witnessing center. Your essence is simply a witness, like we talked about last Friday. How often do you pause and witness If the investment that you're putting in each of your relationships is that bringing you a return on that investment. So let's talk in accounting terms today. This is the return we are all looking for, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not. But this is the return that we are looking for. So let's start with that one relationship that first popped into your head when you heard this word today. That is what we're going to work with. So I would like for you to focus on that one relationship. How long has it been since you've had that relationship? And check in what has been the ratio, what has been the equation of these 4 components. Give it a percentage point. So out of 100%, what percentage would you allot to each of these components that has gone into that relationship? So just quickly go ahead and write that down for you. And now this investment that you have made, you want to check in, you want to witness, is it working? Has this relationship allowed you to find a connection to yourself? The way we find self-connection is in an indirect way. Even though we are whole, we are complete, we tend to look outwards, go to somebody else, and then reflect back what they think about us, and that is what we gather as a sense of connection to ourselves. The more you feel connected to that relationship, to the person in that relationship, to the same extent you reflect a sense of connection with yourself. Think about a time when you first stepped into a relationship, when everything was beautiful and rosy. Check in what did that equation look like back then for you out of these 4 components. How much was your mental energy involved in it? How much was your mind involved in it? Probably a lot more emotions, probably a lot more energy, a lot more physicality, but probably very little mental investment. And check in with that equation now in the present moment for yourself. Is it still the same? Has it changed? As the equation of your investment changes, has the idea of self-connection also changed along with that? Or do you find that the more you invest in that relationship, the less you are starting to feel connected with yourself? That is what we want to witness today. And if we can do that with every relationship in our life, then we can keep making corrections to our investments based on how much we are receiving back in return about ourselves. And now here's the deal, not to be selfish, but here's the deal. The more you receive these things, the more you receive self-connection, self-understanding, sense of completeness, the more you will naturally offer to the other person. That is why when I work with people on relationships, I usually say somebody who has the consciousness, who has the awareness, is responsible for initiating the foundation equation so that they are also getting a sense of self-connection, self-understanding, and completion. And in return, they will reflect that back to you. They will offer it back to you. This back and forth mirroring, as I believe Victoria mentioned here, this back and forth mirroring is what forms what we call a relationship. But most of us have never really paused. We feel the fluctuations of the relationship. We feel the emotional tides of the relationship. We check in on the surface, we introspect what's working and what's not working. But we are diving in much deeper here. We are saying, have I understood something about myself through this relationship? And as long as you are getting one or the other or all three aspects back from the relationship, it could be a good relationship, it could be a bad relationship, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're understanding something about it, about yourself, you will remain in that relationship. As long as you're finding connection to yourself, you will honor that relationship, or you should. And then there's a sense of completeness. I think we talked about it a few classes ago, where we talked about how we are all puzzles, yes? And every experience we are having, we are trying to gather the missing pieces and finding out which piece is me, what fits in with me. And the moment a piece fits in, we have this amazing sensation of completeness. And that's what we are all after. In every relationship, we are after that sense of completeness. And we are checking in, do you fit with me? We start a career, it's like, do you fit with me? You start a relationship, do you fit with me? When you have children, well, you don't have a choice in the matter. You are meant to make it fit. You're meant to make them fit in your life and fit yourself in their lives. And that in itself is a whole art. Self-understanding is an amazing way to evolve. Our soul is all about evolution. Our essence is all about evolution and growth. So, for example, if I am in an unserving relationship, something that feels very dramatic, with lots of ups and downs, a lot of drama, am I able to understand something about myself from that relationship? Is that relationship still handing you something back? And as long as it is, that relationship is serving you, even if it's not healthy, even if it's so-called toxic relationship. So I would like for you to just sit and contemplate, think about that one relationship you have, and check in the equation that you're insisting that you're offering and what you are receiving back. And then we'll go on further from there. In the meantime, I'm going to look at the comments that you're sending me. Yasmin says, what if no relationships affect the connection to self anymore? That's a good question. What if no relationships affect the connection to the self anymore? That is a wonderful place to be in. That means you have already gathered a lot of the pieces that you needed to understand yourself. When you understand yourself in full clarity, from all dimensions, from all angles, you will have no more need. You will not be affected by anything that anyone is reflecting back to you. That is the goal of yoga. That means that all these aspects of you have united with your essence. Now the essence can use them without any distortion. But for most of us, even though we feel we do understand ourselves, we know who we are, at every turn of life, as something new is presented to us, we are asked to go through the same process again. We are asked to understand ourselves in a new light, from a new perspective, from a new dimension, from a new angle again. And this journey, I feel, is endless till the day we die. But the idea of yoga, the idea of meditation, the idea of spiritual growth is that I can accelerate my process of understanding who I am through my awareness. If everybody's awareness was turned on fully at all times, then in a very short span of time, they can understand who they are. And the rest of the life is a little more smooth sailing from there, because then we make our choices of our investment of all these energy, physicality, emotional, mental, and physical investment from a really wise place. We can begin from the most harmonious equation, and we know that equation is not only going to serve me, but is also going to bring out the best from me. That is the goal of yoga and meditation. But this requires you to be fully aware, to have all the lights turned on of your mind. That is what we call enlightenment. In that full, flood of light, there is nothing to hide. There's nothing hiding in the shadows anymore. But it is the things that are hiding in the shadows within me that sometimes pop up in this interactive relationship. This is something we run away from, but this is something our essence is longing to understand. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that would be awesome. That's right. Every relationship brings to the surface a new dimension of the self. For some of you who have multiple kids, you'll be able to really appreciate that. You can be the same person with 4 different people, and each one reflects back something very different to you about you. And if you are resistant to that feedback that's coming back, then you will not know how much of that feedback that's coming back is skewed from their own perspective, from their own veiling of their mind, and or how much of it is real. So there is an interesting process that takes place as you invest your mental, emotional, physical capacities into someone, into a relationship. The information that you get back, that is not the final information. You are meant to sort through that information in your own meditative capacity. You're supposed to sit with that information and sense how much of that was pure, unadulterated, genuine, how much of it got a little tinged with the coloring of the emotion that they were going through in a moment, and they didn't have any filter, so they spewed it out. Most of us don't have that capacity. Most of us have never worked on that capacity. Therefore, we get entangled in our relationships. Therefore, we feel whatever gets reflected back to us must be me. In order to find self-connection, I need to know this piece of information that got reflected back to me. What piece within that allows me to find myself? For example, if somebody has a toxic relationship, yes, I'm sure a lot of you know that. We've all experimented and found toxic relationships. In that feedback that you get sometimes, there could be the highs and there could be the lows. Sometimes you get the best of feedback and sometimes you get the worst of feedback. And that drama that gets created between these highs and lows, a lot of people thrive on that. They enjoy this high and low. But this feedback that you're getting, in that, are you getting to a place where you find yourself one day as you're going through it? Again, if any of you have gone through a toxic relationship, I'm pretty sure you came to a point where one day you said, enough. That's enough. I don't want this any longer. In that moment, you found yourself. From that perspective, that toxic relationship served you. It gave you direction when it gave you a glimpse of what you want in absolute clarity. You became clear in that moment, say, I do not want this. I experimented with this. I thought this was a relationship. I thought all relationships are like that. But the angst that got created, the anxiety that got created within you, gave you an understanding of yourself. That sense of clarity is what the essence, our center, the witnessing self, is after. And those moments are usually the defining moments of our life, where we change the course of our relationship. So this process, to me, has been very helpful. But I think to really truly get to a space where you can understand how the equation is working for you, you need to get into a more meditative space than just the surface mind space. So let's do this. Wherever you're sitting, just make some room around you. Come sitting in easy pose, so you can sit in a chair. And you can sit on a pillow or a bolster. If that allows your knees to be lower than your hips, that'll keep your spine tall. Make your hands into Gyan Mudra. Back of the hands are on the knees. Roll the shoulders back and down. Close your eyes once again and focus them at the middle of the forehead between the brows. Slow your breath down. And visualize a screen on your forehead. And keep your gaze fixated on the screen. I think we've become really good at that during this time. Our eyes fixated on a screen. And now begin the movie of this one relationship that you are investigating today. Allow the projector to begin and observe this movie from the very beginning. The first moment of contact. And slow your breath down. And I would like for you to feel this somatically in your body. As you think about that first moment of that contact, where do you feel that investment beginning? The physical, emotional, mental, energetic. And you'll be able to feel it in different parts of your body, like a symphony playing within you. And let the projection continue as slow as possible. Watch the whole movie almost in slow motion. And if you need to pause at any particular frame, allow yourself to pause and keep gazing at that frame until you understand something about yourself. Whether it's an understanding of a good quality that you have or a bad quality that you have, it doesn't matter, but understand, give yourself permission to acknowledge. And now begin a steady breath of fire. Equal inhale, equal exhale, gently pumping the navel point. If you are on your moon cycle, women, just breathe long, slow, and deep. Breathing through the nose. Keep observing. Again, keep going frame by frame. Don't let your breath interfere with you watching the movie. In fact, it's going to enhance the movie. It'll make it even more vivid. The colors will pop out. The emotions will pop out. But as they do, this breath of fire will allow you to become neutral It won't suck you in emotionally as you are watching this movie play. You'll simply become a witness. So we are using these few techniques today to learn how to become a witness to something. And as you witness, you will derive the juice out of your experience. You will derive the truth, the absolute reality of yourself from that relationship. Stay focused. Continue with the breath of fire. If a moment of awareness shows up for you that you were not aware of before, a truth that you were not familiar with before, and it pops up for you, just go ahead and quickly scribble that down somewhere and get back into the witnessing mode again. Begin to witness if any of your resources, physical, mental, emotional, energetic, are getting wasted, and or that you need to change the equation at this time of your life to match the frequency of the relationship. What would be harmonious to the relationship now? Keep the breath going. Another 2.5 minutes. Keep observing, don't let your mind drift off somewhere else. Keep watching this movie. It's very helpful to do so. This is where we become real with ourselves and others in the relationship. Take a deep inhale. Pause the breath. And witness yourself. Turn the camera towards yourself. Gaze at yourself. Exhale slowly. Keep the eyes closed. And slow the breath down. So long, slow, deep breathing like we practiced in the beginning of class. That's what we're doing again. Inhaling with the belly, expanding. Allowing the heart to open, opening the shoulders. Slowly exhaling the shoulders, exhaling the chest, and drawing the navel in towards the spine. And you want this breath to be as slow as possible, as if you're breathing in slow motion. The slower you make your breath, the slower you can make that whole film, so you can watch it frame by frame. And now this time, I want you to observe, I want you to witness your level of self-connection. Has that increased over time with this relationship, in this relationship, with the level of investment that you have made in it? Has your sense of understanding of yourself increased? What have you understood in the span of time that you have been investing in this relationship? What have you understood about yourself? And if something shows up, like an aha moment, go ahead and write that down and go back into the long, slow, deep breathing again, into that witnessing mode again. As slow as possible. You will find if the mind wants to distract itself, your breath will become faster. Keep guiding it, keep slowing it down. This is a wonderful secret technique of witnessing, to getting to know what's really taking place in your life. It's almost like writing a performance report on your own investment. No rush, let everything slow down. Even if you find that the return on investment has stopped a long time ago in this relationship, please go ahead and acknowledge that fully too. If you find that you probably need to change or add to this investment, you need to add more emotional investment into it, acknowledge that too. Understand yourself and you will know where you can make the correction in your equation. And slowly inhale through the nose. Pause the breath again and turn the camera towards yourself. Just gaze at yourself, witness yourself. What do you see? Exhale. Relax the breath, but keep your eyes closed. If you need to add something to your journal, please go ahead and do that in this moment. Whatever came to your observation, that is the beauty of witnessing. Without judgment, we can acknowledge. All right, come back. We'll do another breath. You're going to pucker your lips and inhale through the puckered lips and exhale as slowly as possible through the nose. So both the inhale and exhale is at a very slow pace. This is what's going to look like. Filling the belly, filling the chest, filling the shoulders as you inhale through the puckered lips. Slowly exhaling through the nose, relaxing the lips. All the way, drawing the navel all the way towards the spine. That's your exhale, and then begin again. Slow inhale through the puckered lips, still expanding the belly on the inhale first. Opening the chest, opening the shoulders. And slowly relaxing the lips, exhaling through the nose, slow as possible. Get the hang of this breath first, and then I will introduce another cue for you to witness. Do you feel like you have found little pieces of yourself through this relationship? If yes, what are those pieces? Those missing pieces of the puzzle? What have you acquired in the self-reflection back, in this mirroring back? And do these pieces fit in your puzzle, or are you trying to make them fit? Witness that. Finish the last round. Inhale deeply through the nose. Pause the breath again. and turn the camera back towards yourself. Just gaze at yourself, gaze at your essence, that center point, and see how neutral it is. Exhale through the nose. Keep your eyes closed, just relax the breath. If anything comes to you that you want to write down real quick, please do. Inhale. Exhale. Half an inhale and begin breath of fire again. Equal inhale, equal exhale, pumping the belly. And begin to witness if along the way, along the path of your journey in this relationship, you have acquired some unpleasant, unserving irritations, resentments, disappointments, something that doesn't serve any longer, but you've just been carrying it as a burden. This is your opportunity to clear it out of your system. So use this breath of fire and burn it off, burn this extra baggage off. We're only doing this for about 2 minutes. So give it your all, stay very focused. You can witness everything that you need to let go of and clear it with the breath of fire. And please inhale deeply, suspend the breath. Once again, gaze at yourself. Exhale through the nose. And relax the breath, keep your eyes closed. Just be with yourself for a few more seconds. And if possible, while your eyes are closed, come lying down on your back with your arms by the sides, palms up. And let this awareness settle in the cells of your body. We want to absorb this. So be quiet and restful. And give permission to your body and your mind to acknowledge what you have witnessed. wherever you are, still on your back, with your eyes closed, slowly begin to chant along the mantra Vaheguru. It is an expression of acknowledgement in neutrality. I acknowledge this, I acknowledge this, I acknowledge this. I take responsibility here. I don't take this on me here, not mine. Vaheguru. So whatever is showing up for you, begin to acknowledge consciously now. Keep chanting as you slowly come sitting up. Now you are acknowledging, observing everything from the place, from the space of your essence. There's very little physical investment in this moment. There's very little emotional investment in this moment. Very little energetic investment. Very little mental investment. Only observing, only acknowledging. This is the space that reflects back you the truth. Whatever that truth is. Beautiful. Please inhale deeply. Exhale. And send me a few comments on what you observed, anything that you were not aware of before that became apparent to you through this witnessing exercise. Any place you take responsibility for needing to change that equation of investment in order to make a relationship of connection. What came to you? What did your inner guide reveal to you? You're also welcome to ask any questions that showed up for you in that space. If any of you found, if any of you observed that the one relationship you were focusing on, you couldn't find any of these three components. There was no self-connection taking place any longer. You're not receiving a sense of understanding of yourself. You seem to have understood it all. Or you're not getting a sense of completion out of anything. That relationship you need to really truly observe under a magnifying glass. It could be something that you are resisting, or it could be something that is done. The purpose is done. Or it could be something that you are holding back on. Even if that became an awareness for you in this moment, hopefully that added to your sense of self-understanding. So Tony says, I came to the realization that all my past relationships did not work out because I did not understand myself, my true self. It was right in front of my face. And Victoria shares, I was able to see more about what I want, what will serve growth and evolution of my soul. I saw several things I was attached to as well. And that's a very important component. As long as you are receiving one or the other in some form or the other, that relationship is feeding you. And therefore, you are feeding that relationship. But if none of these components are showing up, then all you're left is a shell of attachment. And that's the difference in a relationship. A relationship is meant to create connection. It is meant to give and receive understanding. It is meant to create the congenial environment for us to have some kind of sense of completion for ourselves. Little piece here and there. But if there's nothing over a long period of time, not just for 5 minutes or today, something happened, but over a period of time, if none of these have been happening, then please know that that relationship is just an empty shell now. There's nothing real in it left, which takes us back to our first mirage that we talked about, the real versus the unreal. When we keep on holding on to things within which there's nothing real left, or there is nothing real to begin with, that will keep taking your investment but not give you a return on it, which creates a sense of self-depletion. So if any of your relationship you are feeling depleted instead of fulfilled, that is what is taking place. And if you don't pause to go through this kind of witnessing process, then you go on investing without ever pausing to see, is that investment giving me a return? Because if you are not getting a return, trust me, you are not offering anything in return either. Only when we are receiving, only if one or the other component is getting fulfilled, we can then offer it to someone else. Otherwise, all of your offerings, all of what you think you are offering to the other person is also empty. It has no heart in it. And a relationship without a heart has no connection. So with that thought, I'm going to just check in if you guys have any more questions. Oh, thank you, Victoria. She says, however, I'm open to making a correction to my equation. Awesome. Something to fear, but to embrace, definitely. Please don't allow fear to stop you on this journey of self understanding and self growth. That is why we call this class practical spirituality. It has to be able to serve you, and it'll keep offering you the courage to step in together, one day at a time, one observation at a time. So I will leave you with this practice, and you can apply the same pattern to all of your relationships or the major ones in which you know there's a lot of investment going in. Just check in. It's a really good check in to do every once in a while. Otherwise, we start taking ourselves and others for granted. All right. So take a moment, heart to heart, eye contact to eye contact. Let's acknowledge each other. Thank you for joining me in this space today, and thank you for going on this journey. We will come back with another witnessing process next Friday. But let's end with a long time sunshine prayer that we can send out to ourselves, because we are all just in a process of experimenting, and or to all the other people in our lives who are contributing to this wonderful journey. Place your hands on your heart center. Eyes are closed. Slow your breath down, and you can witness again. You can bring to mind all the people, all the relationships that pop up for you right here, right now, in this moment. Witness yourself again. And you're welcome to chant along or mentally send the prayer to yourself and all your relationships.
Sunshine upon you, and all lives around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, and all loves around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, and all loves around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Peace to all. Blessings to all. Love to all. Satnam.